Thank you. My name's James Tracy. My day job is over at Community Housing Partnership, and I'm also the co-founder of the San Francisco Community Land Trust, and the Land Trust Director, Tracy Perrin, is here in the audience. I'm really happy because they're one of the fantastic solutions that we'll hear more about, real ray of hope. I want to start off by saying back in 2008, there were two dueling propositions at the ballot box, Proposition F and Proposition G, about the redevelopment of Candlestick Point. One proposition was highly favored in the in favor of creating more affordable housing. The other one was marketed in favor of creating more jobs. Now, what's important about this particular housing fight or this particular economic development fight in San Francisco wasn't who won and who lost, what project, what vision moved forward and which one receded. It was the activity of the precincts that were closest to Candlestick Point that voted yes on both of them. So it should take a no-brainer that everyday human beings who are struggling to stay in San Francisco need both housing and jobs. And probably, if they are paying attention to a lot of the debates that we have, laugh at this progressive versus centrist bifurcation that we have in San Francisco. It's kind of like the red state, blue state thing, which was completely made up and does not actually talk about people's actual political behaviors and people's actual social and political aspirations for their lives. So I've been involved with the fight for the human right for housing, and I do believe that housing is a human right. It means that if you are human, you should have housing. It's that simple. For about 2 decades, and I found my way to this work by driving a truck. I drove a truck for Community Thrift Store at 17th and Valencia, and I would oftentimes pick up the belongings of evicted people that were being generously donated by their landlords. But I think that the main problem that we have in San Francisco is the fact that we have had the twilight of common dreams. We have completely forfeited our right to think big about an inclusive city where the working class is secure, where poor people have an opportunity to move up, where the middle class is here. I don't even like the term middle class. I think it's a complete ruse, actually. I think that we're talking about middle income workers, and we're talking about a strategy to create prosperity. And I want to see the type of city where everybody who is being priced out of this market has a chance to stay, prosper, grow in dignity, regardless of where you started off on the class ladder, where you started off on the racial hierarchy. And we do have a racial hierarchy here in San Francisco. So my question is, are you with me? Yeah. Okay. So here's some ideas. Let's think big, okay? Let's forget about whether we're going to get 12% or 20% out of the next big development, because we'll work that out. But let's think of a big municipal green New Deal. Let's build enough affordable housing to make a dent in the housing crisis. Let's actually see less and less homeless people become home-full people in San Francisco, which is happening both from putting new additional units of supportive housing out, like my group Community Housing Partnership does, but also efficiently using what we have to create a housing ladder of opportunities for many people. Let's put people back to work. Let's not be afraid of public employment anymore, or think that public employment has to be a minimum wage, a near minimum wage job through HSA, but actually put people back to work, teaching people art, keeping our gardens and our streets beautiful, basically rebuilding the commons for all of us to enjoy, no matter where it's socially useful work instead of whatever is thrown at you. That's the type of dialogue that makes, and I completely support it and work to raise the minimum wage, but let's think of like actually creating whole new sectors of the economy, like they did in that radical utopia called Cleveland, Ohio. in Cleveland, Ohio, where they created the Evergreen Cooperatives and put 500 mostly African American families back to work, right, in a dignified, self-managed, worker-owned cooperative, or what the Green Bay Packers are, a municipally supported enterprise where the city actually gets a benefit for everybody, right? It's not just taking money out of a community, but it's putting money back in. But that requires thinking outside of the box. There's a lot of hard choices that we have to make, but there's several things that we can do right here and now. We can really reboot the affordable housing sector, not just by funding new units, which is completely important, but like I said, realigning it so there's an actual housing ladder, and I'm very proud that my organization's part of that. Doing what the San Francisco Community Land Trust just did 2 weeks ago, where we intervened in an eviction on Dubose and turned that soon-to-be Ellis Act building into a permanently owned, permanently affordable cooperative, thanks to the leadership of Tracy Parent. We should bolster the lives of our service workers, and that means defending the commons like City College, because there is no better anti-poverty program in San Francisco besides City College of San Francisco, and I am a proud alumni. And we can think of San Francisco as a social justice laboratory. I don't believe that we can solve all of our problems on the local level. I want to take this fight straight to Washington, D.C. Against economic equality, for racial justice. However, I know that our cities we can pilot new ideas here that we can turn into social movements later on. Thank you very much.